The tyranny of the urgent. We have all been here before. You've planned your day, you have your meetings, phone calls, emails, and client appointments, etc., but then it hits us. Something urgent requires our immediate attention, or does it? Now, the phrase tyranny of the urgent was coined in 1967 by Charles E. Hummel in his short publication. Hummel opens with this question: have you ever wished for a 30-hour day? Now, perhaps there are those of us, or should I say most of us, would answer yes. But even if possible, would a longer day really solve our problems? Most likely not. The issue is not so much one of time, but of priorities, our priorities. And that is where we're choosing to invest our time. Now, such a dilemma can lead to stress, self-doubt, and possibly even health problems. Why were we never even taught this principle in school? Hummel was inspired by the words of a cotton mill manager who said, "Your greatest danger is letting the urgent things crowd out the important." In other words, our challenge is to develop the skill of differentiating the two and then prioritizing our time accordingly. Now, one way we can begin gaining clarity is to take a time out. Past president of DuPont said this: 1 minute spent in planning saves 3 or 4 minutes in execution. Now, many have actually seen increased profits, sales, and achievement by setting a time each Friday afternoon, to carefully plan the following week. Author and business consultant Peter Drucker beautifully illustrates the principle with a jar with large and small rocks set aside. He says to put the large rocks in first, and there'll always be room for the smaller pebbles. So, what are some of the so-called urgent things that can crowd out what's important in our workday and personal life? Here are just a few. Email. If you find yourself working on a project, turn off your email notifications. Otherwise, you may see a message which is upsetting or simply takes your mind off track. Another is your phone. Now, if you have time-blocked time to call all of your prospects or to update applicants on their loan status, let incoming calls go to voicemail until you finish. The message can wait. Meetings, and more meetings. Meetings can be useful, but often become time wasters. Now, one way to avoid this is to make an after-action report from each meeting. In other words, it tells who had what assignment and what has been done to date. This increased accountability will avoid meetings until those tasks and responsibilities are followed up and met. Next, block out time for the important, less the urgent. Well, it's going to fill your demands. Now, lastly, know your energy level. Now, typically, our prime time for productivity and energy is in the morning. So schedule your most demanding tasks, or the big rocks, during this time. Now, there is a battle for our time, and supposedly urgent demands are the enemy. Now, how do you fight against the tyranny of the urgent? Leave your thoughts below, and be sure to have a great weekend.